world was young, the mountains green, no stain yet on the moon was seen.
Then with a crash came a great ringing shout. Ra, boom, ra.
3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
It's talking about Tolkien.
It's talking about Tolkien, Nate. Nate.
It's probably one of my favorite chapters that we read so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You say it's an important chapter. I would gather probably not a lot of people's favorite, though.
Yeah, I mean, they can be wrong.
I think most people would find it boring, but I'm going to guess you enjoy the tactics.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can be wrong. I mean, I think some of the early chapters with the Black Riders, those are probably still my favorite, but this one's up there.
I don't think a lot of people like those either. I think
well, you can be wrong. Wow, what's your favorite one? The one where they have to run away from wolves and they have to like get inside Moria real quick, or else the Watcher will get them, and that's the end.
How could I possibly choose? They're all my favorite. No,
well, you have to choose. Actually,
no, I like the chapter. I just I think it's one of those chapters that maybe we're talking about the Siege of Gondor, chapter 4 of book 5 of Return of the King. I think it's one of those chapters that works better on a second read through when you're not reading for plot, because the plot, a lot of stuff.
No, you should read it for plot.
A lot of stuff happens. Well, you should, but a lot of stuff happens that doesn't seem super relevant to the plot at first. But yeah,
well, you don't like Faramir returning and then going away and then returning again? I did.
I mean, it's more like Faramir eats white bread and then rests, and then I think those are the details. But no,
that lets you know that they're running low, because otherwise they would have given him some rye or some pumpernickel.
It means the exact.
But all
opposite.
they've got is that white bread.
It unfortunately means the exact opposite. White bread is actually used to be more expensive.
That's weird.
Well, because you got to do more work to make white bread.
You got to extra ruin it. You got to make it worse.
You have to refine it.
Spend more effort to make it shitter.
Yeah. you have to
crazy.
Use refined flour. So
that's crazy. White bread used to be more expensive because they put in more work to make it worse.
No, there's actually there's a whole subsection of like the medievalist community that'll tell you that medieval peasants probably ate healthier and better tasting food than most nobles. Like the things we would want to eat from that time are probably not.
Except they didn't get all the meat.
They did not get all the meat. That's the one problem. But the nobles maybe got too much meat and refined carbohydrates.
That's how I want to live. But I guess that is how I'm living, and it's not working out well for me. So I guess I gotta get back on the field.
Yep.
And start working. So
no, you gotta do the hardest thing of all, which is eat a salad.
I don't want to do that.
No one does.
How about I just not eat?
I was looking into fasting. I don't know about this salad stuff. All right. Well, then why don't you jump in and tell us about the chapter?
Well, it's told from the point of view of Pippin. And he wakes up. Gandalf is there. Gandalf's like, "You got a busy day ahead of you." And Pippin's like, "Oh, boy. Did you bring me some food?" "No."
No, specifically, he's like, "You're required, you pledged your service, so now you got to go to work." He's like, "Well, are they serving breakfast at work?" And
no,
Gandalf's like,
"I brought you breakfast.
You ass."
Yeah.
He's like, "I brought you breakfast." And Pippin looks down and he's like, "That looks like a piece of bread with one pad of butter.
You know how hard it was to find butter in this city, Pippin?
Have you
I don't want
have you seen a
to
cow,
hear
Pippin?
any of your shit.
Have you seen a cow within 20 miles of here, Pippin?
And Pippin gets all gloomy. He's like, "Why have you brought me here?" And Gandalf is like, "Shut up." he's like, "You know why I brought you here. Someone's got to keep you out of trouble. Just, God, it wasn't by choice, okay?"
You know quite
Remember
well.
when Elrond was like, "Hey, send him back to the Shire"? I'm starting to think maybe Elrond was right.
Hey, you know what? Compared to what's going on in the Shire, this piece of bread's looking pretty good.
Gandalf doesn't even know, though, right?
I don't think he knows. I don't know if he would suspect. I'm trying to remember if Gandalf knows or if they they tried to hide it from him that Saruman had a bunch of South Farthing tobacco.
I don't even think they put that together, though, right? Like they knew it was
They knew he had it
from the Shire, but they're not thinking like, why does he have this? They're just thinking like, dibs.
Yeah.
Mine now.
Yeah, they don't think very much about it.
And neither is the reader supposed to think about it at first, I don't think. I think reading back, you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, obviously that's what's happening, but you're not supposed to know that now.
Yeah, who would work with Saruman to give him tobacco? Weird.
Yeah.
But
who do we know that's just the worst? Just the absolute
the true
god awful worst.
The true villains
the real villain
of the entire saga. Of the entire Baggins saga. No. So he goes to work and
so they go to Denethor and he just waits on him for a real long time. And Denethor is portrayed as not a maniac who has lost his mind.
I underlined so many quotes. I'm going to read a couple.
Okay.
The first thing Denethor says to Pippin when he arrives is, "Well, Master Peregrine, I hope that you used yesterday to your profit and to your liking, though I fear that the board in the city is barer than you could wish." And then Pippin has this uncomfortable feeling, this slight notion that perhaps dude's keeping tabs on him.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, Denethor knows a lot more than he lets on. He's not just a crazy weirdo.
They take another thing he says. The only reason I underline this is because it's in the movie. This is in one of the scenes where he's being a dick to Faramir, where he's asking Pippin if he can sing, and he has Pippin sing him a nice song while he's sending Faramir out on a suicide charge.
And then he pulls out a tomato.
And eats it with the force of 1,000 suns.
Is that how they describe it in the book?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't eat the tomato like an asshole in the book. He's not an asshole in the book. That's part of the problem.
Oh. That's why the movies are terrible.
He kind of is at the end, but you kind of understand.
Well, you're gonna find out that it was the Palantir. He was being, he is being corrupted, but
what is that? Is that what the bright light was that happened right before he went extra insane?
But no, that was aliens. Technically, they do come from space.
What?
They descended into the world.
The Palantirs?
No, the Maiar.
Oh, okay.
Sauron, technically an alien.
Well, Ben, one of the theories is that we evolved from bacteria that were on a meteorite, so we're also aliens. We're all star stuff, Ben.
You even sounded like him a little bit. No, so he asks Pippin, what are you good at, Pippin? What can you do for me? What can you do for this company, Pippin?
I can drive Gandalf so crazy that he would rather fight a Balrog
You're in.
than.
I fucking hate that guy. I would not. That's a missed opportunity on Tolkien's part, is having Pippin around just to piss off Gandalf. Denethor and Gandalf really do not get along. Denethor is sick of like, oh, you think you're so smart just because you're an immortal angel that knows everything. Well, I know things too, Gandalf. Important things about important stuff. And my opinion matters.
Yeah, I'm the steward of Gondor.
Gandalf's like, well, God put me in charge of fixing this. All of this.
You're doing a great job so far.
Oh, touche. Oh, you know what? Up until recently, I wasn't in. I thought I had a guy who was more responsible than me, but turns out that's also my job. So, yeah, he's like, I could sing you a song. It's gonna be about sex and alcohol. He's like, I don't know if it's really fit for your lordly halls. And
why not?
He's like,
is my lordly halls not good enough for your song?
You think I don't have sex? I'm the Dick Cheney of this trilogy. Competent, maybe too competent. What's my deal? Not in the Epstein files. Don't know. Have a man-sized safe in my thing. I think I just like killing people. I use killing people the way most people use erotica.
You know what? It's better that way.
It's, comparatively to what everybody else was doing.
Yeah, if he wants to shoot another one of his friends in the face while quail hunting, I'm down.
Yeah.
I know he's dead now, so
I'll have to get Liz to do it. It's one of those political digressions that people love.
They do. I heard they want more of them. So Pippin does get suited up, Ben, in armor. And I had a question. Why is there a child-sized set of armor in the armory?
I don't know if there was a child-sized set of armor. There was child-sized livery, as the British would say.
Ew. That's disgusting.
And I think they might have cut down some chainmail for him, because I don't think he had like a breastplate or anything.
So, like, you're not saying children are fighting for Gondor?
No.
Damn. Missed opportunity.
No, he's got a helmet. I think the weird thing about halflings is I think their heads are regular sized. This isn't the
Okay.
Their head is in direct proportion to the rest of their body.
Well, every time somebody wants to give them a hat, they give them a regular sized hat, and it seems to be fine. Because Mary gets a hat from like the armory, and Pippin gets a hat from the armory.
They're about the size of an average 10-year-old. An average 10-year-old can wear an adult-sized hat.
Well, there you go. An average 10-year-old can wear an adult sized hat.
I don't know why you know that, but okay. So, after he's done getting suited up,
Shai's really offended that I would render the halflings disproportionately large-headed.
you know what? You should. You already took away what makes humans important. In,
What did I
D&D.
take
You
away
might
that
as
makes
well.
humans important?
You might as well give them giant
you're still
heads,
upset that
Ben.
I won't let you do the
Yeah.
fucking heroic inspiration.
Yeah. I will never forget, Ben. Never forget. Anyway, so Pippin sees that shadow that was at the end of the last chapter, because these are all happening around the same time, right?
Yeah.
And
he's actually very careful to tell us like what the time relation is in this one.
Yeah, he finds Baragond, and he's like, well, that's some weird weather, isn't it? Because Pippin doesn't seem to quite realize right away that this is not a natural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Baragond, I'm a little offended that you think I live in a place that occasionally the sun stops working. Like, fuck you, dude.
There's a couple of little quotes here. Um, one of them was, and it seemed to Pippin years since he had sat there before in some half-forgotten time, when he had still been a hobbit, a light-hearted wanderer, touched little by the perils he had passed through. Now he was one small soldier in a city preparing for a great assault, clad in proud but somber manner of the Tower Guard. And I know Tolkien says none of it's about World War One. I know
it isn't.
No, there's
It's
not even a little hint of that.
It is. It is a normal phenomenon to go through a war that just chews up an entire generation. That's just normal.
But I will say,
nothing weird.
In several letters to his son about World War II, he referred to his son, who was a pilot in World War II, as a hobbit among orcs, somebody who was taken out of his place and forced into a terrible situation. He also referred to certain weapons of mass destruction, not the atomic bomb, I don't think, but like chemical weapons and stuff. He referred to them as orcish and questioned if you could really be Catholic and work on building weapons of mass destruction, which I think is surprisingly morally consistent from an Oxford professor. But he wasn't in the sciences. And
wait, did Tolkien build weapons of mass destruction?
No, but he knew people who did. That was an issue he was very passionate about.
Well, if I'm one of them, my thought is my rebuke is I just built the things. I didn't use them. That was on you, buddy. I didn't tell you to use that poison gas.
Well, and then he goes on to describe a little bit more about how Pippin feels right now.
Look, you could have challenged them to a gentlemanly duel, all right? I didn't say you had to load up the artillery and start spraying chemicals all over the place. I just gave you the weapons.
Tolkien was just in a trench. I don't know what he thought about having to run to put on his gas mask lest he die in the most painful way imaginable.
That, it was okay.
It did not bleed into anything else he ever did. He compartmentalized that. It's in a little box, and we just keep burying it and burying it.
Yeah, he didn't have the shell shock.
No, he just made up
that might not even really be a thing.
An entire language for the elves, and then 6 more dialects of the language for the elves, and then I barely even remember what all the fuss was about. But in some other time and place, Pippin might have been pleased with his new array. But he knew now that he was taking part in no play. He was in deadly earnest to the service of a grim He was in deadly earnest to the servant of a grim master in the greatest peril. The hauberk was burdensome, and the helm weighed upon his head. His cloak he had cast aside upon the seat. And it dwells on this suiting up for war, putting on the uniform, taking your elven cloak, and you're not allowed to wear it anymore. Take that elven cloak that you like, put it on the chair, put on your guard cloak. That's what.
Although having a cloak that allows you to be camouflaged would maybe come in handy.
Yeah, you're not trying to be camouflaged anymore. You're trying to not be shot by friendly fire.
Yeah, he should have really learned his marksmanship. He could have been a sniper with that camouflage.
So take off your clothes, put on the clothes I give you.
Done.
I'm remaking you as a soldier now. Your hobbiting days are over, and it's just one of those things where Tolkien dwells on something that seems very mundane, I think, to the person who has never served. But it's the sort of thing I wouldn't think to write. But he spends a lot of time on it. Like, I wonder how he felt when he went from making up elf languages to being drafted to the front line.
Was he making up elf languages before he was drafted or after?
He was in it. They really took off after.
He suddenly needed to preoccupy his mind with something else.
Yeah, no, they really took off after. He really started. That's when he decided he was going to create a secondary world. Very consistent, very believable. Something you could really imagine yourself in and find no weird dream logic to pinch yourself with to return to reality. No, this all made sense. It's fine. I wasn't that bothered by my time there.
No. No, absolutely not.
And then it
it's a thing that everyone went through, okay?
Well, and
it's a bonding experience.
He talks to Baragon, and it's a very Pippin quote, but it also kind of goes along with my point here. He's like, "I am not used, Master Baragon, to waiting hungry on others while they eat. It is a sore trial for a hobbit, that. No doubt you will think I should feel the honor more deeply. But what is the good of such honor? Indeed, what is the good even of food and drink under this creeping shadow? What does it mean?" And that's when he's like, "Does the weather always suck here? I'm in a mood." And I think it's just that thing where he's like, "You don't want to be here anymore. I realize now that I've put on the uniform and I did my first day of duty. I hate this. I don't want this. This sucks."
Wow. Well, you shouldn't have volunteered, idiot.
You did
multiple times. You volunteered.
Yeah.
Elrond wanted to send you away.
He's like, "But where I come from, I'm not legally an adult, so nothing I sign matters."
Well, sorry, but this is Gondor rules. You're not a sovereign citizen. You do have to report to Denethor, and he does say that you work for him now.
Yep.
If you don't like it, you can leave. The door is that way, towards that black mass in the sky, and the screams of Nazgul, which is what happens.
Oh, I wish
Nazgul are...
I wish Faramir were here. He's like Boromir, but a little more slender, a little more like K-pop. You know?
No, I don't know.
Beautiful man. Beautiful man. He sings, he does military service, he reads, does it all. Faramir. If Faramir were here, oh boy, we'd be set. You'd have to be some kind of fool to let Faramir come here and then go away. Oh God, Pippin hit the dirt. Screeching in from the cloud of smog is one of the flying Nazgul. The first time Pippin has seen one.
Not the Witch King. One of the others.
Not the Witch King. And then they look out and they see, I think this is where they see that Faramir is approaching. The Nazgul are not just flying around screaming willy-nilly. No, they have a purpose. They are chasing the defenders of Osgiliath, who are fleeing across the field. And
No, they're not the defenders of Osgiliath right now.
Oh no,
they're returning from their raiding party. Yeah,
you're right.
That we saw in the last book when he met with Frodo.
You're right. They're trying to get to Gondor from Ithilien.
I know how you can be confused because he does return twice in this chapter.
And when the Nazgul screams, the aura of fear is orders of magnitude multiplied from what it was when Pippin last saw them. Pippin can barely move. Most people are falling down in the streets weeping.
Baragon is like, God, someone needs to go save Faramir. Oh God.
And
he's sitting there.
Yeah, they can't move. And the horses that the fleeing men are riding, they buck and go wild and knock their riders off. And
that's just rude.
Those men have to get up after being thrown from a horse and start running. And only Faramir manages to keep his horse. But wait, there's another horse on the field. One who ain't scared of shit. That horse just roared back at the Nazgul. That's fucking Shadowfax. And that's Gandalf. Gandalf's gonna go save Faramir. I do love though how like into Faramir Baragond is. He's like, look,
And yet,
there's one
it
rider
wasn't
still
enough
up.
to overcome his fear.
That's gotta be Captain Faramir. He can master both beasts and men. Mastered me a time or two, I'll tell you what. But then Gandalf comes out, and it's like in the movie, and this is a confusing scene in the movie for a lot of people. And I will actually say I don't know that it's much better explained in the book. He raises his hand, and
he casts lightning.
Well, no, he casts some kind of like blinding light.
Solar flare.
And that really, yeah. Yeah, he does the solar flare from Dragon Ball Z, and the Nazgul cries out in pain and backs off. They won't come in on Gandalf.
Yeah. Obviously. He went 1v9, bro.
Yeah, they remember him. And that was before I got my upgrade.
Yeah, that was before you got to see his final form.
You got upgrades. I got upgrades. Let's do it.
So he saves Faramir and gets him into Minas Tirith. And Faramir gets all that bread that we were talking about at the beginning of this episode.
I love...
You got that fancy white bread with extra less flavor.
Refined flour.
And
it doesn't taste bitter. It doesn't taste hoppy or weedy.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
It tastes like nothing. There's no flavor.
I do like Faramir's reaction. In the movie, Faramir sees Pippin and he just like stops and stares. And Gandalf's like, this isn't the first halfling you've seen. But in this one, Faramir's a lot more expressive. He's like, a halfling in the livery of the tower? What? How many halflings have there been in this kingdom? Have I just been missing them this whole time?
Yeah. You've got a thing where you only acknowledge tall men.
We all do it.
Yeah.
If he's not 6'7", I don't even see him.
6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches.
6'5".
So you gotta.
I'm looking for a man.
You gotta get all the sixes.
Looking for a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes.
I don't even know what song you're talking about, but yeah, Faramir. He tells them everything about what has gone on, about how he defeated the Lord of Elephants or whatever, and also he ran into Sam and Frodo. And it had been about 2 days since they parted, so they have yet to have gone to Minas Morgul.
I do like Faramir says these are not the first halflings I've seen walking around the Southling or the Southlands. And Gandalf gripped the arms of his chair and he stopped with a look, the exclamation on Pippin's lips. And Denethor is just looking between them. Like, yeah, I know. I know what you're doing. You're hiding things from me again. So he tells the story.
And Gandalf goes, Cirith Ungol? What the fuck? You did what?
The paths of, Cirith Ungol.
Yeah. And Gandalf is shitting himself because he suspects the reason for this dark cloud might be because they found Frodo and we're all screwed. But that's when Faramir's like, no, this was happening before Frodo even left my company.
Yeah,
everything had gone silent. The cloud had started.
I sent him into the Morgul Vale right when they were marching out of the Morgul Vale. It would be a miracle if they missed him. But yeah, the timing, it's sketch. Everybody's nervous. Gandalf clearly understands that Cirith Ungol has something to do with spiders.
Yeah, but surprisingly, Gandalf never says like what his plan was. How are you going to get into Mordor, Gandalf?
Well,
What was your plan?
I was going to do better than that.
If the whole fellowship had come here, what was your plan to get into Mordor, Gandalf?
We were going to ladders.
It's a really big ladder.
We're going to use really big ladders. I was going to march all the way around and go in from the back.
Yeah, that's only like 300 miles one way and then 300 miles back the other way. What's that? Like 4, maybe 5 days of walking?
It is if you're George R.R. Martin.
How hard could it be?
Oh.
So
I do have another quote around this point.
You would. Because
as they're talking, Denethor, there's a more meaningful exchange between Denethor and Faramir. The relationship between them is a lot more subtle and nuanced than it is in the movie, where he's just comically abusive. So Faramir says, "I hope I didn't do the wrong thing here." And Denethor's like, oh, now you care if you did the wrong thing. He says, "Your bearing is lowly in my presence, yet it is long now since you turned from your own way at my counsel. See, you have spoken skillfully as ever, but have I not seen your eye fixed on Mithrandir, seeking whether you said well or too much? He has long had your heart in his keeping. My son, your father is old, but he is not yet a dotard. I can see and hear, as was my wont, and little of what you have said or half said is now hidden from me. I know the answer to many riddles. God, I wish Boromir were here." And he's jealous. Denethor's fucking jealous of Gandalf.
Yeah.
His son prefers Gandalf.
Wish I had the son that preferred me.
Yeah.
Wonder where he was.
Ooh.
Wonder who sent him away to his death.
Yeah. This is where he says the line in the movie. So he says, they say, "Do you wish then," said Faramir, "that our places had been exchanged?" And "Yes, I wish that indeed," said Denethor, "for Boromir was loyal to me and no wizard's pupil." But in the movie, you might remember that line is, "Boromir was loyal to me, not some wizard's
I don't remember
pupil."
much of that, actually.
Yeah, he says it like half choking in sobs.
Here, father, have a tomato, quick.
He literally falls back into his chair and hallucinates that Boromir's there. That's how it goes in the movie.
Oh my god!
But he says that he would have remembered.
It's the meme with Wolverine and Jean Grey, except it's Denethor and Boromir.
He would have remembered his father's need. He would have brought me a mighty gift. And then in the movie, Faramir is like all tear-filled and heartbroken at his father's rejection. But in the book, Faramir's restraint gave way. And he says, "I would ask you, my father, to remember why it was that I, not he, was in Ithilien. On one occasion, at least, your counsel has prevailed. Not long ago, either. It was the lord of the city that gave the errand to him, if I remember."
Yep. I'm glad someone brought it up, because he's like, "Oh, I wish Boromir were here." And it's like, well, why isn't he here? Someone gave the order for him to leave, right?
Yeah, occasionally we do take your advice. Where'd it get him?
And it sucks.
And then this next line is spoken by Gandalf, but in the movie, it's given to Faramir. In the movie, Denethor says, Boromir would have remembered his father's need, blah, 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 blah. And then Faramir says that he says exactly what Gandalf says, actually. He says, he would have stretched out his hand to this thing, and taking it would have fallen. He would have kept it for his own, and when he returned, you would not have known your son. Now, in the movie, this is all between Faramir and Denethor. In the book,
Yeah, there's like a council of people here.
yeah, this is like a whole thing. And Gandalf jumps in and says, he's pretty blunt. Boromir's dead and he died well. Let him rest in peace.
He died well.
He says, let him rest in peace, but you deceive yourself if you think he would have brought the ring to you. And this is where Denethor and Gandalf, you can imagine now, like you're set up to not like Denethor, but like he does not treat Faramir like absolute shit. He's disappointed that Faramir is very clearly likes another old man more. So first off, like he's jealous that his son sees Gandalf as more of a father figure than him. That's complicating this conversation. He's also he's upset that, it's classic parent kid stuff. He's upset that his kid doesn't listen to him, that his kid doesn't think he's wise. And he and then Gandalf jumps in and says,
yeah, sorry, not all of us can live for thousands of years.
Well,
Dick.
And then Gandalf jumps in and says, you're wrong about your oldest son. You're wrong about your firstborn. He was not strong enough to do the thing you wanted him to do. It would have broken his mind. He's dead. Let him rest. Leave the memory as it is. Don't taint it by making me tell you what a weak-minded, simple man your
he
firstborn.
Did start going a little crazy at the end there. He was kind of chewing on his nails. I wasn't there for that, but everyone told me. He was muttering to himself and rocking back and forth.
Well, and then that got a little personal, right? And then Denethor turns to Gandalf and he says, "Yeah, Boromir, yeah, he's not as good as this one, right? Because what he doesn't listen to you. Less apt to your hand, you found him. But I, who was his father, say that he would have brought it to me. You are wise, maybe, Mithrandir, yet with all your subtleties, you have not all wisdom. There are things people, you don't know everything, okay? I know you're this big dude and whatever, but I'm the one with the burden of leadership. I'm the one left in charge of Gondor, and Gandalf's like just sitting here, God told me to save the world, but that's okay. Yeah, you got a lot of responsibility. And they're pissing each other off, and it's
Denethor does say, like, yeah, obviously we shouldn't use the ring, but we should like hide it away, unless we really need to use it, like if it gets so dire, then yeah, we'll use the ring, but only in that case, Yeah,
Denethor is upset that they're all facing the same crisis here, because the movie acts like everybody knows what's going on at all the time. Denethor thinks that this attack, like Gandalf thinks, is coming because Sauron got the ring. And if Sauron got the ring, no chance. What went from like a 5% chance went to no chance. And he's like, you gave the ring to some idiot halfling. Don't even tell me you didn't, because I see them. They're all morons. And
hey, I'm right here.
But he looks at it, he's from Denethor's perspective. Seriously, think about it. Like, these halflings are pampered little bumpkins who have never had to they've had to fight to defend their lands in the past, but it's been many generations.
And also, it was a bunch of trees.
They've been protected by the Dunedain. They just live this charmed existence. They're soft. They don't have to face the horrors of the world. They get to enjoy this life of like rustic simplicity, while I have to fight literal demon kings. So you give one of these creatures, this is your brilliant plan. He's looking between like Gandalf and Faramir. This is your brilliant plan. This is like what all the wisdom of the wizards can come up with. We're going to send 2 halflings who don't know where the fuck they are or what the fuck they're doing, who neither one of them can really fight, on a stealth mission deep into enemy territory with the key to the end of the world.
Well, if it helps, we actually sent. They actually met up with a third halfling.
Oh, and he's reliable?
He will reliably do what's in his interest.
Gandalf, why do you flinch every time anyone says Cirith Ungol?
Oh, not Cirith Ungol.
So Denethor is not. That's not crazy. It's not crazy to be pissed about this, because Denethor says Gandalf says, he's like, so well then what's your wisdom? What would you have done? And he's like, I would have kept it hidden, dark and deep, not used, I say, unless at the uttermost end of need.
Unless we really need to. Yeah.
But set beyond grasp. Saved by a victory so final that when it befell, it would not trouble us being dead. So Gandalf says, you think only of Gondor, yet there are other men and other lives and times still to be. For me, I pity even the Dark Lord's slaves. And Denethor's like, okay, that's lovely, hippie. But where are these other men going to go when Gondor falls?
Yeah, I only think of Gondor because, where am I at? Where am I the steward of?
What stands between the Dark Lord and his conquest of the rest of the world? Is it the Shire? No, it's Gondor. You ass. And Denethor says, he's like, if you do not trust me to endure the test, you do not know me. Which is such a, like, you don't know me, you don't know where I've been, you don't know what I had to do to get there. That's such like a reality TV response. But Gandalf says, I'm going to quote one more time.
He just straight up says to his face, no, I don't trust you.
He says, nonetheless, I do not trust you. Had I done so, I could have sent this thing hither to your keeping and spared myself and the others much anguish. I died, by the way. Thanks for asking. And now, hearing you speak, I trust you less, no more than Boromir. Nay, stay your wrath, for I do not trust myself in this. I refused this thing even as it was freely given as a gift. You are strong in some matters to govern yourself, Denethor, yet if you had received this thing, it would have overthrown you. Were it buried beneath the roots of Mindoluin, still it would burn your mind away as the darkness grows. And they stare at each other for a while.
And Faramir's like, you guys gonna just kiss already? Or
yeah, Faramir and Pippin are like, okay, so this is awkward. Mom and Dad are fighting. Gandalf's dad, by the way.
And that really pisses off Denethor. Denethor thinks he gets to be dad, and it's a big thing. Boromir would have said Denethor was dad.
Yeah, and this is where they talk a little bit about Osgiliath. He raises the topic.
Yeah. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? And he's like, well, Osgiliath is going to be first. It's going to fall, and they're going to pour across the river. And his captains are like, we can't spare the men. And Denethor, I think he's just kind of like grasping at straws, clinging onto whatever he can, because, hey, Boromir stopped them from crossing many years ago. He reclaimed it, didn't he? He reclaimed the other side?
He's trying to get one in after having been embarrassed, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want that crossing to happen without the enemy taking a heavy toll. Now, his captains are like, all right, we could lose 100 dudes, and they could lose like 100,000, and that still wouldn't be a fair exchange. They would still just roll over us. Like, we can't lose men defending a doomed position. But Denethor's the boss. I'm the boss. I tell you what to do. I took your counsel. I think you're all wrong. We're all going to listen to me now. Because you never listen to me. So, Faramir, I need a strong man to lead that garrison at Osgiliath. Think that one's you.
Yeah, he does give Faramir a day in the city to sort of recover. But then they have this council, and he's like, he says a thing he says in the movie.
That would depend on the manner of your return.
It's that whole thing. He says,
I hope you think better of me, Father.
Papa. I enjoyed this because in the movie, only Faramir is in the room for this quote, which makes it so much more prickish. But in the book, it's a room full of people Denethor is mad at. He says, much must be risked in war. I will not yield the river and the Pelennor unfought, not if there is a captain here who still has the courage to do his lord's will. So in the movie, the only captain in the room is Faramir. In the book, he's talking to, like, any one of these guys could volunteer. And they don't. They don't. So it plays out a little different. Again, it makes Faramir, he's not as pathetic.
Yeah.
There's a room full of captains that Denethor's trying to shame. They all stay silent. None of them are volunteering for this posting. And Faramir's like, I'll do it. But if I do it, maybe you think better of me when I come back, Father. And he said that would depend on the manner of your return. And then Gandalf, and I will say, this kind of comes out of nowhere in the book, says the thing he says in the movie, which is, do not throw your life away rashly or in bitterness. You will be needed here for other things than war. Your father loves you, Faramir, and will remember it ere the end. It's like, okay, yeah.
You might hope that maybe he didn't. It's a little weird.
In the book, or in the movie, that exchange is, Faramir is almost in tears. Gandalf's like, your father loves you, Faramir. And in this one, Gandalf's like, hey, don't do anything stupid just because you're mad at this guy, okay? Look, he loves you, okay? He'll remember it. You know, he's under a lot of pressure right now. But this does come after, like, constant questioning of his leadership. And keep in mind here, Denethor rules a kingdom, right? How many important people do you know who would allow you to talk to them the way Gandalf talks to Denethor?
I'm guessing J.D. Vance.
He might like it. But I think most people, like, if he were truly an evil king, if he were truly this egotistical monster, he'd just have Gandalf thrown out. But he doesn't. He keeps Gandalf around because deep down he knows he needs him. And around the same time, Pippin also asks Gandalf the question that's in the movie.
I love this. Basically, Pippin's like, Gandalf, is there any hope for Frodo? Okay. And Gandalf just looks at him like, Pippin, buddy, we had almost no hope to begin with, so don't worry about it. I just wrote, Gandalf really doesn't like Pippin.
This is an exchange in the movie, and I think this in the movie is paired. Everything's out of sequence in the movie. I think in the movie, this is where he talks about the far green country. Like, where Pippin's like, was there ever any hope? Gandalf's like, there was never much hope. Only a fool's hope, perhaps. And in the book, that's a reference to the conversation he had with Denethor, where Denethor is like, what kind of idiot would send a pair of halflings into Mordor to destroy the ring? They don't even know where they're going. And Gandalf's like,
They've got a guide.
in private, Gandalf's like, was kind of a long shot. And then Pippin says something about dying, and Gandalf in the movie gives a speech about how death's not the end, but he doesn't know that. So he doesn't know what the fate of men is. So he's just kind of banking on something there.
Death isn't the end. I've heard that great things are in store for you. Turns out our fate is we just get chucked into a hole.
Death is not the end for me.
Yeah, no, I've already come back once. Did I tell you that? It's pretty sweet. You?
I could tell you where you're not going to be. Here anymore, ever again. Beyond
and I
that,
thank God every day for that, because I'm tired of being around you.
I don't fucking know. But Gandalf does think to himself. He's like, maybe, though. This dark cloud, maybe. Maybe there's another thing that could be going on here. Maybe it's not because he has the ring.
Yeah, he does think.
Maybe it's because he thinks we have the ring. Maybe Aragorn did a thing. And he's coming at us hard because he thinks Aragorn has the ring.
Yeah, maybe Aragorn looked in the Palantir. Pippin's like, I thought we were never supposed to. Shut the fuck up!
I never said we, I said you.
Did I? Look, every time you open your mouth, I just want to punch you.
You
think we're joking, but he really does not like Pippin.
Well, he does in the book, you know.
Literally, he shows up in Isengard, and Pippin's like, "Oh my god, is that Gandalf?" He's like, "I don't have time to talk. Where's Treebeard? I don't have time to talk to you. Shut up."
He does find Pippin grating.
He does.
It's like when I like to think it's like when I got my cat. My cat and I were not friends at first. Cats, I was a dog person. Cats are a different beast. They take a little time to warm up to you. You gotta earn a cat's respect. And I thought he was just a little asshole for a long time.
Yeah.
But eventually I grew accustomed to him.
You got used to his assholishness, so it doesn't bother you quite as much.
No, now when he's like sick or anything, now I feel bad.
Okay. That's something.
Yeah. It's not hatred.
And that's important.
And that's all that matters. No, I like my cat. I didn't the first 6 months I had him though. I was questioned in that decision. But we learned.
Gandalf also mentions that a traitor may betray himself, as he's talking about Gollum.
Yes, that is actually an oft quoted line. I don't know if I highlighted it. Good on you.
The War Council also thinks we're going to need to stop them at, how do you say it? Caer Andros?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
It's a little island, I take it, that can guard a river channel.
Yeah.
And, whoops. Yeah. So not only does Caer Andros fall, but Osgiliath falls.
Well, they know it's going to. Denethor is under... So in the movie, Denethor orders Faramir to retake Osgiliath.
Yeah, this is just to hold it and make it as painful as possible to cross.
Yeah, so in the book, he's under no illusions that they are going to be able to hold the fields. Also, in the book, the women and children have been evacuated from Gondor. They're not there screaming in the streets as severed heads rain down. Denethor has accepted... Well, he's more than accepted that the city's probably going to fall. Denethor fully expects to lose this fight.
Yeah.
But he's going to fight it nonetheless. And that's kind of admirable. In the books, he's wrong about a couple of things. He overestimates himself. He likes Boromir a little too much. He's a little too mean to Faramir. But these are like, in the book, they're more believable personality flaws. They don't make up his entire character. He's also very competent. He also is somebody he's a leader who's going to go down with this ship. He's doing his best, and he's just really not the king. He's trying to fulfill a role that is not his to fulfill, and he's doing about the best job he could do, but the pressure is cracking him. And so he orders this. He's like, I want them to bleed as they cross the field, which isn't crazy.
No, it's not a bad idea.
But
his captains think that it's not worth the men.
Yeah.
So there is some dissent there, but it's not, because crossing a river is hard. There's a reason that it's so dangerous in warfare. Even in modern warfare, it's dangerous to do.
Yeah, they're finding that out. Turns out, not hard to stop things from going through. Don't need a big army.
I thought we won.
We won within the first hour.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, unfortunately, they took Osgiliath, and they took it really easily. Because it turns out they'd been secretly making barges and rafts, so they were able to get across the river pretty easily and just overwhelm the position of Gondor.
Yeah, Sauron has been planning the invasion of Gondor for a very long time. And he has done significant preparation.
Some might say literally since the last time he was killed.
Yeah. Maybe the only thing he thinks about. And
do you think it would have gone into Minas Tirith if he took it?
Who, Sauron?
Yeah. Would he have made a personal appearance to to just rub salt in that wound?
I think Denethor was not crazy to not want to be taken alive.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. They come in, you light those fires.
Yep. I mean, that's a crazy way to kill yourself. Oh my God. But
but I would rather be lit on fire than taken by
it's gonna be
Sauron,
it's better than what's gonna happen to you if Sauron takes it. There's a part in the Silmarillion where Sauron captures some people, and every day he just lets a werewolf in to eat one of them.
Jesus.
And he only eats one, and then he goes away and leaves them with the thought. And they never know which one it's going to be. And it's fun. You don't want to get captured by Sauron. Gollum will tell you about that.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. So Gandalf decides that he better make like an ant and cleave.
Well, and also there's more than just Osgiliath here. Like Faramir is expected to fall back. That's not seen as cowardice. Like Denethor is not like, go take Osgiliath or don't come back. He's saying bleed them. So Faramir fights him at Osgiliath. They lose it way too quick. Then he falls back to the walls around Pelennor Fields. Then they blow through the walls. Literally, I think they mention explosions. So like Sauron has also, discovered what Saruman has discovered is, we could use gunpowder. So he's blowing through the walls. They're not holding, and the people who retreat. There's a wave of people who retreat with the wounded, or Gandalf. I think. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. You were saying this.
Gandalf rides off.
Yeah, Gandalf goes out to help with the defense, and Gandalf comes back first without Faramir. because Gandalf had to escort the wounded, because the biggest problem they're having is that the Witch King is on the field. And between him and the Flying Nazgul, it's just taking all the fight out of the people defending. Like whenever they show up, there's a literal, and I think this is intended to be magic. There is a magical, spiritual aura of fear that very few people are able to withstand.
And yeah, some of the Nazgul are actually flying overhead, far up in the sky, screaming.
Yeah, just wearing down the city with like these waves of magical anxiety and despair. And they even say like even the orcs.
That's interesting. What if the elves invented Xanax? Would that do the trick?
I think the elves have things like that. Like, you know how they talk about like the fortifying wine? Gandalf gives them each like a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would that have done the trick? The Nazgul is screaming at you?
It would help. I think there's an interesting thing where Pippin...
Why does the aura own... No, it also affects the orcs, right?
Yes. Yeah, he says his own folk quail at him. They would slay themselves at his bidding. But he's not directing it at them in the same way. But they're terrified of him.
Yeah, I would be too. Have you seen that guy? He takes off his hood and there's just a crown floating in the air.
But I don't...
How does he do that?
I don't think it's like a... It's not like a D&D stat block kind of thing. It's not like everyone has to succeed a DC 25 wisdom saving throw or they succumb to the aura. It really is still your choice. It's just most people don't have that willpower. For whatever reason, they're not able to stand it. But Pippin eventually holds up better than most. Like
He's
when
got that halfling resistance.
Well, no, I think so. The first time Pippin encounters it here, he freezes. He's not even able to do what Baragon does. Baragon handles the aura better than Pippin. But when Pippin is running to try to get Gandalf's help to stop Denethor from burning Faramir, the scream again. They come down, and Pippin actually winds up fairly close to the Witch King. Pippin is able to keep running because he has a purpose now.
Yeah, I think that the fear of what Denethor is about to do is overrunning the fear of the Witch King.
So I think that's the key factor here, is that this aura wouldn't necessarily work on its own. But combined with a situation where you're already feeling hopeless, it's enhanced. But when Pippin is really determined to do something, and he's determined to save Faramir, and he believes he can save Faramir if only he gets to Gandalf, he's able to resist the aura. So I think it's a key part of Sauron's plan to wear them down psychologically, and then this aura will be maximally affected. So I think the people who it's working on, the soldiers, they don't want to die. They don't want to fight to the death. They're not ready for this to be their grand end. But they're just giving up hope.
Boromir would have fought to the death.
Well, and so would Faramir, as it turns out.
Yeah. Faramir, he's rallying the rear guard so that they can get as many people back as possible. And this is where Denethor and Gandalf have yet another dick measuring contest, where he's like, hey, there's one thing I learned when I was out there. The enemy has few mounted troops. And Denethor is like, don't you think I already know that?
Yeah, Gandalf's like, we need to plan a sortie to help.
I've already been planning a sortie.
We need to plan a sortie to help Faramir get back into the city. Denethor's like, I know that. I know about sorties. I know military stuff. Gandalf. Okay? Already got the horses ready. You don't know everything. I know things too.
Yeah. Watch me eat this tomato, bitch.
But that is the other thing. He's not literally like that scene where he's eating a feast while Faramir is being mowed down by arrows from just thousands of orcs. That is comically exaggerated from what actually happens, which is he's planning how to get Faramir back into the city in the book. Like I said, it's just more nuanced. Like he doesn't like that Faramir doesn't think he's the smartest guy. He doesn't like that Faramir can see through his bullshit. He liked big dumb Boromir who did whatever he said.
Yeah.
Boromir was the one I went to baseball games with.
Well, you stayed at home reading. So yeah, he's already got horsemen ready to save this retreat, which is almost in a complete route.
Yeah, it was going.
So he sends them out there.
Really good until the flying guys descended. They just keep doing that.
Yeah, it went real well until that happened, and then Faramir caught some strays. And this is when, so they get back into the city. Faramir is like dying, and this is when they realize Ker Andros, that's gone. Osgiliath, obviously that's gone, and the path that Rohan would be using, you know, the way that Pippin and Gandalf came in, that's cut off. So even if Rohan's coming to our aid, they're not going to be able to get in.
Yeah. And
we've got nothing else. It's just us.
One thing I wanted to point out about the sortie is Gandalf goes out with it again. And
yeah, he does.
The Witch King is not there at this particular moment. So the other Nazgul are swooping down, and when they see Gandalf, and this is how Tolkien phrases it, and I thought this was important. The Nazgul screeched and swept away, for their captain was not yet come to challenge the white fire of his foe. Gandalf, as we know, associated with fire. So this white fire, and I think this kind of goes back to the Balrog thing, where Gandalf says that he is the black flame or the dark flame, and Gandalf represents the sacred fire. And so I do think they're not ready to challenge Gandalf's holy power. They need like a more ultimate evil. And also, this is going to become somewhat important. The people that ride out with Gandalf, who are able to resist the aura of fear, are Prince Imrahil's riders.
Yeah.
So Imrahil is a big character in the book who's not in the movies. And Tolkien constantly describes him and his people as being more like the men of Numenor. They have more of the old West in them. And I guess that means like a more divine power. They're like that blessing that the Numenorians had. And so they're able to resist some of this. It will become a bigger deal.
So now they built catapults. And they can't breach the walls. The walls are like magically sturdy, it sounds like.
The walls are made out of the same stuff Orthank's made out of. The Numenorians...
shit, man, we should have built more stuff out of that. Why don't we build our planes out of that?
They were built ere the power and craft of Numenor waned in exile. So, yeah, they are magic.
But the catapults are going to lob flaming missiles over the wall. They catch fire mid-flight.
Yeah.
And then after that, start catapulting a bunch of heads in.
Yep. And that's sort of when things start to go bad.
And that's when the Nazgul start screeching overhead.
Yeah.
And then a weird light happens in the keep. And Denethor is like, we're fucked. Everyone's fucked. Get the funeral pyre. I'm going to die with my son. Get him out of this hospital and get him into the crypt.
Yeah, so Tolkien has a nice quote here. They're thinking that the main weapon of the enemy will be hunger, but the enemy had another weapon swifter than hunger. The Lord of the Dark Tower had dread and despair. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to break their spirits. And there's another thing right before it goes down with the bright light. Denethor has Faramir set up on a bed in like the council chamber, and he's just like, eventually he just bursts into tears. Denethor does, which is like a your son is dying moment. And Pippin's like, God bless him. Pippin says, I think he could get better. Have you asked Gandalf if he can do anything?
You motherfucker.
And Denethor says, comfort me not with wizards. The fool's hope has failed. The enemy has found it, and now his power waxes. He sees our very thoughts, and all we do is ruinous. So Denethor believes he has the ring. It's over. You sent that stupid fucking halfling in there. He got the ring. Halfling's dead. And now...
Hey, we sent 2 halflings in there. There was another one.
And that will actually prove critical. It's the second one that makes all the difference. You know, when you send a halfling, you got to send 2. One is none when it comes to halflings. And then he realizes, he says, I sent my son forth unthanked, unblessed, out into needless peril. And here he lies with poison in his veins. And the people are like, Denethor, you got to give commands. Denethor, this is where he has finally given up hope. He's like, I'm going to stay beside my son. Follow whom you will, even that gray fool. Though his hope has failed, I stay
Gray.
here.
I'm white now, okay?
Well, they've been calling it, unfortunately, Mithrandir means gray wanderer, so they've been calling him gray.
Well,
the whole
shit,
time.
you need to call me something else now.
I forget the Elvish word for white. There is one. Doesn't get used as much as more, which is black.
So Gandalf and that prince, they go around rallying the troops, and when they're near, that fear melts away. But as soon as they leave, comes right back.
Yeah, and you could, if you want to be like a super nerd, you could say, is Gandalf using his ring? Is he providing some kind of counter aura? Because his ring of fire...
No, he's just a cool dude.
His ring of fire...
hang out with him.
Narya is said to...
It's like when George W. Bush ran around rallying all the troops
exactly like George
in Fallujah.
Yeah. Yeah, Gandalf's a real GW. There's people out there that think that. There's a large conservative fan base for Lord of the Rings. But...
that is insane.
It's the Christian stuff, I think, and the like,
okay,
when men were men. But
and almost always when people say that, they're either on steroids or they're like huge.
Now, are you telling me people who spend every waking moment thinking about masculinity might harbor some doubts about their own?
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah, I am saying that.
Say it.
It's crazy.
That doesn't sound right. I prefer to think that they're experts in self-defense.
I didn't realize Andrew Tate was such a little bitch, by the way.
I had never heard him speak until like a month ago. I can't believe anyone follows that guy.
Have you seen any of his fights? I saw him. He beat like 200 people in a row, but that's after they were all worked to the point of exhaustion and none of them were trained fighters.
I've only seen the one where he got his face caved in.
That's the best one.
But no, I heard him speak and I was like, what is this accent? where is this moron from? Like, I can't believe somebody who talks like that. He talks like a valley girl.
it was pretty embarrassing. Yeah.
I
can't see how anyone saw that as like that's peak masculinity right there.
No, like he talks like he's going for the lead role in Legally Blonde. I don't know how anyone thought this was like peak masculinity. Yeah, and but yeah, people, Gandalf's ring kindles the fire in the hearts of men. Could he be using the ring? Maybe. Could it just be the sight of some guys who have some confidence, like a leader who's actually inspiring, a leader who actually makes you feel like there's a plan? Could be that too. I think what Tolkien's going for here is there's some subtle magic. It's a combination of both. That the aura only works when you believe it.
Yeah. Just like psychiatric medication.
It's not been my experience with some of psychiatric medication. Some of that shit will just put you down no matter how you're feeling. And thank God for that. Thank Iluvatar that he gave us a biological off switch.
So, yeah. Pippin's going to run and find Gandalf because Denethor has decided he is going to be lit on fire with his son. And Pippin's like, okay, yeah, he's gone crazy. Yep, I see it now. So
I enjoyed this because some guys come up to Denethor and they're like, my lord, fire's broken out. The men are fleeing from the first circle. And he's like, why are they fleeing? We're all going to burn. Fire. Yeah, fire. That's how we're going to do it. No tomb for Denethor and Faramir. No long, slow sleep of death embalmed. We burn like the heathen kings before ever a ship sailed hither from the west. And I also like that because he says that in the movie too. He says, we'll burn like the heathen kings of old. I've seen people react to that. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, yeah, no, the Numenorians consider men who do not know the Valar heathens.
Wow.
Though, is it really better to know the Valar and have tried to kill them, or to just not know them at all?
I think that means that you extra love God. You know, you're like, I love you so much. I want to
look. I believe that's not the issue. The issue is
I believe so hard I wanted to come over there.
The issue is he's keeping shit from me. And I want it. But yeah, I do love Pippin's like fleeing. He's like telling everybody, he tells Baragond, he's like, you need to stop Denethor. You need to get in there and punch Denethor in the face. He's like, is Gandalf king or is Denethor king? He's like, neither of them are king. I don't really care what your orders are. He is insane. Okay, you don't have to follow in a legal order. A senator told me that. So get in there and stop him.
And then, why is the name of the battering ram Grond?
I don't know what Grond means.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Grond is a big old fuck you battering ram, and the Witch King magically imbues it, and it hits the gate 3 times, and on the third, it breaks, Ben. And the Witch King steps in, and Gandalf just casually and calmly steps before him, and he's like, can't come in. Go back to the void. This is not the first time I've said something like this. You really want to test me? You really want to test me?
He's like,
and
you know what happened to the last guy I said this to? Tell you what, didn't pass.
And the Witch King laughs, and he's squaring up. He's getting ready to fight, and then horns ring out. The Witch King is like, oh, thank God. I mean, you're spared today, wizard. I gotta go over here and take care of this other thing. But you wait here. I'll be back to kick your ass. But Rohan is riding back.
Rohan is riding.
They're coming to save the day. And that's the end of the chapter.
It's the end of the chapter. Now, obviously, I'm going to mention real quick a difference between the book and the movies again. And this is a question I've seen a lot of the people who only have seen the movies have. How did the Witch King break Gandalf's staff? He didn't. In the movie, the Witch King gives that speech. And he's like, "Do you not know death when you see it, old man?" And he raises his sword in the air and he lights it on fire with magic. And he's about to swing and kill Gandalf when Rohan shows up. That was all setting a dramatic scene. The Witch King is not stronger than Gandalf.
No.
And
he and 8 of his buddies struggled to defeat Gandalf last time, and they didn't. They basically fought to a draw.
Even powered up, because it seems like Sauron is pouring more of his will into these guys.
He's got a crown now.
He's got a crown
that sits on an invisible head, so it's just a crown floating.
Which is fucking sweet, but I kind of know why they didn't do it for the movie. I think it would have looked silly in the movie.
It would have looked real funny. Gandalf with a broken character. Like, what the fuck is that?
I'll give him that one. But I have a big problem with that scene in the movie for 2 reasons. The first being that Gandalf's not weaker than the Witch King. Gandalf is more than willing to fight the Witch King.
What was Sauron's plan? Just like, let's send wave after wave of men at Gandalf until he's dead?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gandalf will eventually be surrounded and enough people will kill him. Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, he fought all 9 of the ring wraiths, but like he didn't fight all 9 of the ring wraiths with an army shooting him the whole time. I'm going to at least try that.
I'm going to try that before we come up with a different plan. That's fair.
But the other problem I have is that the Witch King breaks Gandalf's staff.
That's an important staff.
Yeah.
It's not just a glowing light.
And also, because this also happens in the movies, though, I think they might have cut it. I don't know if it's in the theatrical release. In the movie, Gandalf tells Saruman his staff is broken and it shatters. And that's supposed to be like, your position has been revoked. The gods that blessed your time here and your power here, they're taking it back. I'm saying your staff is broken, not because I'm breaking it, but because it is broken. And that is very significant and very like biblical. And I mentioned that when we covered it. And so for the Witch King to break his staff in the movie, that kind of implies a level of power that the Witch King like can't have. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the chapter. Rohan shows up just in the nick of time. I wonder if the sun is going to be behind them like it is in the movie. That probably wouldn't make much sense because then the orcs would
probably not.
The orcs would have a bigger issue there. Oh, but I also like that the elephants are already in play. We forgot to mention that. The elephants were involved in the siege. They were pulling the siege towers, I believe. And yeah, it's just it's a very well executed siege of a medieval fortress.
And there's push and pull. The defenders aren't just static and just waiting for their asses to get kicked. They're planning sorties. They're playing their defense. They're trying to bleed them as much as possible, even if it is a hopeless cause.
Do you have any notes we didn't cover?
No, that's it.
All right.
This has been a long episode.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow it, if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way where many paths and errands meet. And whither then, I cannot say.